Monster Zero versus Mechagodzilla. Ironically, they're two of the same. Back in King of the Monsters, Monster Zero made its official appearance for the first time, and only time in the Monsterverse. But man, did he live up to the hype, not only rivaling Godzilla, but being his superior. As we can all recall, Ghidorah had him on the brink of death, requiring Godzilla to receive an amp on top of an amp, overcharging himself into his most powerful form on screen to date to end up defeating Monster Zero once and for all. However, Ghidorah wasn't dead just yet. Introducing his opponent for today, Mechagodzilla. Being piloted by Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla beat Godzilla so badly, one of the supposed reasons as to why he looked like how he did in his evolved state was to prevent that from ever happening again. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two iconic enemies of Godzilla, specifically their Monsterverse incarnations, who beat the brakes off of Godzilla and pitting them against each other and seeing who is truly Godzilla's fiercest enemy. But hey, before we dive headfirst into it, I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you guys that are watching this video right now. With my extended hiatus from YouTube, you guys have been absolutely killing it with the support of my videos, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more Kaiju, Monsterverse, Jurassic, and sci-fi content, then subscribe to the channel. Trust me, my takes are good. With that out of the way, let's jump right into it. We're going to be going over several categories to help with the analysis of this fight. These include strength, agility and speed, physical capabilities, ranged weaponry, durability, intelligence alongside battle intelligence, as well as abilities. After analyzing each category in depth, we'll arrive at a conclusion and see who would come out on top in a fight to the death. Strength. Mechagodzilla has shown to be one of the strongest titans in the Monsterverse, but is he stronger than Ghidorah? Let's find out. Mechagodzilla was shown throughout the beatdown he put on Godzilla to be able to drag him and throw him around with ease. Godzilla coming in at a whopping 99,634 tons in weight, this is no small task. While his tail drill was held back by Kong's arm in a severely weakened state, this doesn't concern his lifting or striking strength when it comes to his kicks or punches. Not only was he able to absolutely throw around Godzilla like it was nothing, but was able to easily throw Kong off and discard him when he jumped onto his back. Despite all of this, we need to take a look at Godzilla and Mechagodzilla's initial clash. Godzilla was already severely weakened in this state after an enormous exhaustion of atomic energy, as well as a prolonged fight with Kong. Despite this weakened state, he was able to hold his ground and actually push Mechagodzilla back in this initial clash. Overall, Mechagodzilla is incredibly strong, but let's take a look at Monster Zero. After initially waking up, Ghidorah was in a weakened state after being trapped in the ice for millions of years. And what do you know, Godzilla is right at his doorstep ready to throw down. As we see in both their initial clashes in Antarctica as well as in Boston, the force of the two clashing together is so powerful, it creates a shockwave, and this speaks to Ghidorah's strength. He's able to knock Godzilla down by utilizing his necks. Ghidorah was also able to latch onto Godzilla, drive him back, briefly lift him into the air, and then slam him into the ground with very minimal effort. Keep in mind, Godzilla was on his way to reaching critical mass, and was extremely powerful in this state, and for Ghidorah to even be able to go back and forth with him is impressive in of itself, and later on, was easily able to slam onto Godzilla with an extreme amount of force, stagger him, and then coil around him to lift him into the air. Lastly, while flying, was able to easily hold Rodan in mid-air combat, who weighs in at 39,000 tons like it was absolutely nothing. The fact that both fighters show impressive showings of strength, Ghidorah's ability to grapple and grab with his heads and slam onto Godzilla with his legs, Mechagodzilla and Monster Zero tie at strength. Agility and speed. While our last category was definitely extensive, there's a clear taker for both of these categories. Godzilla was easily speed blitzed and literally juked by Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla's boosters allow him to make clean cuts and movements that seem virtually effortless. Ghidorah is able to slither around in a serpentine-like way, being able to utilize his necks to avoid attacks and also attack from different angles. When it comes to speed, Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla are fairly matched in regards to sprinting speed, but those boosters allow Mechagodzilla to become the overall faster opponent. However, Ghidorah is seen utilizing flight in battle against Godzilla, and he's able to fly at just under the speed of sound at Mach 0.8. With this in mind, Mechagodzilla is the clear taker of agility, but they tie in the speed department. Physical capabilities. Mechagodzilla comes equipped with long arms paired alongside large claws that allow him to have an extended reach on his opponent. His abilities in close quarters combat are some of the best we've seen throughout the entire Monsterverse, being able to absolutely dominate Godzilla and discard Kong effortlessly. Pairing his long limbs and wide claws, he's able to channel energy into punches and kicks that provide an extra oomph behind them. It could be implied that these punches and kicks could do internal damage as we see Godzilla's body light up blue when hit with these energy-powered attacks. And to add on further to his punches, he also includes rotor claws on his hands that are able to cut into flesh when grappling with opponents. As if Mechagodzilla didn't have enough already, he features a prehensile tail that was able to smack Kong effortlessly, and even features a pincer that can rotate and turn into a drill, allowing for Mechagodzilla to puncture opponents if hit successfully. However, it was said that this drill wouldn't be able to drill into Godzilla, so the strength of this drilled tail is a bit iffy, but still adds to his overall arsenal. When it comes to Ghidorah, he seems basic at first, but is far from lacking in this department. His extremely long necks allow for a wide range of mobility. Ghidorah is able to weave around and attack from various different angles. The combination of Ghidorah's three heads allows for him to not only merely bite opponents, but is able to constrict and coil around Godzilla, limiting their mobility. While he never showed to use his tails in combat, his two tails are spiked and can be used in a similar manner as Mechagodzilla, but not as extreme. Circling back to his signature 3-head stature, he's able to immobilize opponents as seen with Rodan and fire a burst of lightning from an individual head, allowing for his most powerful weapon to be productive even in close quarters combat. His ability to fly also aids him in this department, being able to slam onto Godzilla and then lift him into the air. Not to mention the combination of latching onto opponents and flying proves to be a very productive combination in close quarters combat. While Ghidorah's showings are very impressive, Mechagodzilla still easily takes this category. Ranged weaponry. Mechagodzilla packs a wide range of abilities he can use at range. These include a wide variety of missiles that can be fired from not only his chest and shoulders, but also from his back. These missiles were able to launch Godzilla back when attacking him, but did little besides making him let out a groan or two when charging towards him. However, these could prove as a good distraction against Ghidorah. Now his main ranged weapon is going to be his A-74 Proton Scream. The power behind this attack is all over the place, where one source has his yield being well above that of the observable universe, which isn't possible, but a more reasonable way to determine its power would be through his on-screen showings. At 40% power, it was able to slice a Skullcrawler in half. When powered by the Hollow Earth energy, it was able to stalemate Godzilla's severely weakened atomic breath with minimal effort. Once applying more energy, it was able to easily overpower and launch Godzilla, giving him a black eye, as well as severely burning his chest. Overall, Mechagodzilla packs a weapon that could be argued to be as powerful as Godzilla's base atomic breath, if not slightly more powerful. Ghidorah comes with his signature gravity beams at his disposal. When Ghidorah was in a weakened state, they were able to burn Godzilla and knock him over as well as push him back. When fired over an extended period of time, they were able to completely disintegrate and cause Mothra to explode. When absorbing a large amount of energy, he was able to channel lightning out of his wings, which cut deep into Godzilla as well as burned him. Now you might ask why I'm using this feat when this is when Ghidorah amped himself, but you'll see why it's important later on. Overall, Mechagodzilla's Proton Scream is most likely stronger than the gravity beams ever so slightly. Its missiles aren't going to be doing much to Ghidorah at all, rather used as a distraction. The fact that Ghidorah has 3 separate angles he can use his gravity beams from, as well as combining them in a devastating blow, to the point where it can disintegrate an entire Titan, as well as unleash lightning from an external source, Monster Zero takes ranged weaponry. Durability. This is a category that could very well determine this fight. Starting off with Mechagodzilla, he was able to grapple and had little effect when Godzilla slammed into him. The beating he took against Godzilla and Kong never left any physical damage to him until Kong's axe was charged up. When dulled, it merely caused sparks to fly and stagger him. When charged by a weakened Godzilla's atomic breath, it was able to dice the mech into pieces. While it was a refined point that struck him, compare this to an axe that was charging for hours in the Hollow Earth, as well as charged by Godzilla's fully powered atomic breath, it barely dug into Godzilla's hide. Compare this to Ghidorah's durability, and man, the difference is insane. Godzilla in his nuke amp state was arguably one of the strongest forms of Godzilla we've seen in the Monsterverse. His atomic breath was so much more powerful than what we had previously seen in the film. Godzilla's atomic breath was being fired as Godzilla was reaching critical mass. This is one of the most powerful versions of Godzilla's atomic breath when remaining in his base form. Ghidorah withstood it directly to his chest for 18 consecutive seconds without a single scratch. While it sent him flying, he was able to quickly find his footing and withstand the blast effortlessly. I mean, it took Godzilla going thermonuclear and leaving an entire crater in Boston to fully kill Ghidorah. Not to mention Ghidorah being able to fight and withstand blows from such a powerful version of Godzilla, Monster Zero takes durability by a long shot. Intelligence and battle intelligence. Similarly with agility, it's clear who takes both of these points, and that is Mechagodzilla. While Ghidorah has shown to be just as intelligent as Godzilla, most of Ghidorah, at the end of the day, Mechagodzilla is not only piloted by Ghidorah, but also has a built-in supercomputer that incorporates learning algorithms, as well as already built-in methods of how to fight the Titans. Now, does he have one for Ghidorah? Probably not, considering Ghidorah was far dead at this point before Mechagodzilla was being built. While Ghidorah technically has much more experience than Mechagodzilla, we have to remember he's being piloted by Ghidorah and has those memories of all the battles. While Ghidorah is far from lacking in regards to intelligence or battle intelligence, Mechagodzilla is just a smarter opponent. Abilities. Mechagodzilla has an absolute plethora of abilities. He features his signature Proton Scream, potentially rivaling that of base Godzilla's atomic breath. It was shown to severely burn Godzilla, and it was implied that it would have killed him if the Kiss of Death was successful. Alongside that, he features multiple missile salvos across his body, such as on his chest, his shoulders, and his back. His jet boosters allow him to maneuver with precision, making him an excellent fighter in close quarters combat, and pairing that with all of his physical weaponry, such as extended arms, massive claws, piercing tail drill, and channeling energy into his attacks, Mechagodzilla was built to be Godzilla's superior. On top of all of this, he of course has his learning algorithms that will aid him in every fight he's in, allowing him to adapt to his opponent. Now let's see how Monster Zero stacks up. Monster Zero comes with his own deadly ranged weapon with the gravity beams. These beams are able to cut and burn Godzilla badly, push him back a considerable distance, and can be used up close. Ghidorah can also unleash an even more powerful burst of lightning from his wings when absorbing a large amount of energy. He's able to generate his Category 6 Hurricane by simply existing. Being an Alpha Titan, he's able to unleash an Alpha Call. Not to mention being able to telepathically communicate with each head and coordinate strikes. But most importantly, importantly, this is where Ghidorah's abilities shine. His energy absorption allows him to drain the energy of an opposing kaiju and amp himself by gaining an excess of energy. This paired with his regeneration, he can absorb the energy of an opponent and use it to not only power himself up, but also regenerate at an accelerated rate. While Ghidorah features some unique abilities, not all of these are going to be useful in a fight. Despite this, Mechagodzilla's abilities are more repeats of each other when dealing with his physical capabilities, while Monster Zero's abilities can prove to be an insane advantage in a fight. A good term to describe this would be quality over quantity, so Monster Zero takes abilities. With all the points tallied up, Mechagodzilla takes agility, physical capabilities, intelligence, and battle intelligence. Monster Zero takes ranged weaponry, durability, and abilities. They tie on strength and speed. After compiling our results, I determined that Monster Zero would be our clear winner, despite the score seeming to allude to more of an even-sided fight. If the categories that Mechagodzilla takes, Ghidorah doesn't fall behind at all. Monster Zero's durability is far superior to that of Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla, in a sense, while his durability isn't bad, when you compare it to Ghidorah, whose durability is comparable to Godzilla's, it makes Mechagodzilla seem like a glass cannon. Mechagodzilla hits just as hard as Ghidorah, but falls flat in the durability aspect. Not to mention, when it comes to abilities, Ghidorah simply out-hacks Mechagodzilla, as in his abilities are vastly superior and give him an advantage. His electrical nature could very well mess with Mechagodzilla's control systems, causing him to stall or slightly lose function. Not to mention, Mechagodzilla being powered by Hollow Earth energy, if Ghidorah is able to wrap around and constrict the mech, he could very well drain some of this energy, amp himself further, and release a massive surge of lightning while regenerating any wounds he may have endured throughout their fight. While Mechagodzilla is at times downplayed in the monstrous community, Mechagodzilla was designed to supposedly be the superior to Godzilla. However, Ghidorah is simply built different. He is already Godzilla's superior, and again, his abilities combined with a matching output of strength and an overwhelming advantage in durability compared to the mech would prove too overwhelming, granting Monster Zero as our winner. There's a reason Ghidorah requires multiple full-strength titans at their peak to take him down. Well, what did you guys think of the result? Do you agree or disagree? Do you guys think Mechagodzilla would beat Ghidorah? Do you think the fight would be closer? Or did you guys arrive at the same conclusion as I did? Let me know in the comments down below. And after a pretty extensive video, we determined that Monster Zero would be our winner. And I've been your host, Minya FDA, and make sure to remember what Godzilla told Manila. See ya!
Godzilla says that I should learn to fight my own battles.